Good morning, everybody. Here we are for UFC 327. Prochazka versus Ulberg. Unfortunately, we lost the Van versus Tyara fight. It's been pushed back just a little bit. I think it's the first of next month now on UFC 328. But anyways, let's get into this. We got a 12 fight card. This is actually a pretty solid card. There's really there's only one fighter I think that's above a minus 200, one or two, one I think, and that's now Gastelum, and he once we get to his fight, I can talk about him a little bit more because I actually like him this week. But anyways, let's get into this right away. The first fight of the night, we got Radke versus Prado. I've gone back and forth on this one here. I'm leaning Radke, but Prado is still a young, improving fighter, and if he makes significant improvements, I could definitely see him, coming out on top here. I'm gonna lean Radke only because I believe at this stage of his career, he's the more well-rounded fighter. I also think he's going to be the minute winner on the feet. So I'm going to lean with him, even though Prado is dangerous. This is a no play for me. I don't have great confidence on either side. And Radke's now a minus 170, minus 180 range. I thought maybe the line would come down a little bit throughout the week, but it hasn't. So my lean is Radke, but it's a no play for me. Next, we've got Gastelum versus Luque. This is one of those fights where I definitely wanted to wait until the weigh-ins in order to have a, hard stance either side. I like Gastelum. It's just a matter of, where's his mindset at? How dedicated was he to this fight camp? And it looks like he was pretty dedicated. I mean, he came in on weight right at 185, and I think he's going to be the more well-rounded fighter here. I think he's live for a knockout. He could even grapple a little bit here, but I think he keeps it on the feet and eventually finds a KO. I am using him in one of my pieces as a parlay piece at a minus 275, I believe it is. So I like Gastelum to get the win. Next, we've got Medeiros versus Padilla. Truly a 50-50 fight. Padilla is by far the more dangerous striker. Medeiros will be the higher volume striker and the minute winner. Line is just a little too wide for me, though. I think this should be more towards maybe not quite a pick 'em, but I think the line should be a little bit lower. So I'm going to lean on the dog money on Medeiros, but I do like the over. I'm using just over 1.5 in a parlay piece that I'll pull up towards the end for you. So that one's a no play for me, but I do lean dog money Medeiros. Next, we've got Tatiana Suarez versus Lupe Godinez. I think this is I'm not going to say it's a total mismatch, but I think the lines. I think if Suarez did not look so bad the last couple fights, I think this would be a minus 250. I think we're getting a discount on Suarez. I think she's by far one of the best female grapplers we've ever seen in the UFC. and I think she's gonna, showcase that tonight. And I mean, Gordonez isn't bad on her on the mat either, and on her back. But I think Suarez is that much better. So here's what I got going on. I've got Suarez by decision plus 128. I boosted it to a plus 166. Now, if you really want to get even better value, FanDuel has an offer. I believe I'm assuming it was for everybody. I don't know. I know I got it where you got a plus 100, like 100% boost on anything you wanted to do, and on FanDuel, her decision prop is actually a plus 130. You could actually boost that to a plus 260. It's got a $25 cap on it. At least mine did. I'm sure some of them are different, but I mean, you could. I mean, even at a $25 cap at a plus 260, that's still going to be over. Gosh, what? Like a $65 profit or something like that if it comes through. So that's pretty good value if you go that route. But I like her to get the win. I like her over 2.5 takedowns, but it's chalky at like a minus 180. Yeah, so I like that a lot. Next, another fight that I like: Gamrot versus Ribovics. This is a, if you like Ribovics to keep it standing, then Ribovics is probably gonna win and maybe even be alive for a knockout. I'm on the other side. I'm on the side of Gamrot gets his wrestling going, and he's gonna get takedown after takedown because he's not someone that's going to hold you down for very long, but he's going to get numerous takedowns. And Ribovics is going to fight to get back up. And I really like Gamrot over 3.5 takedowns minus 140. But I also played a ladder on this. Now when I say I played a ladder, it's really it's a sprinkle. Like I'm talking only a few bucks on each leg. I'll pull them up at the end, but off the top of my head, a 6 plus was a plus 225. A 7 plus was like a plus 330. 8 plus was a plus 500. And then a 9 plus was a plus 700. I played all of them only for a few dollars, but I really like Gamrot over 3.5 takedowns. And I do lean Gamrot to get the win by decision. So those are my plays for that one. Next we got Holland versus Brown. Another evenly matched fight, another 50-50 fight. Holland is more live to get a finish, but Brown is going to be 100% the minute winner. Especially if it goes a distance. If it goes a distance, I really lean towards Brown. I think I'm going to go with Brown because I feel like he's got more ways to win. I think if he's smart, he would actually try for takedowns. I haven't even looked at his takedown prop. I just don't know how confident I am in him in attempting to wrestle. And the only reason why I say that he should is because Holland's just not very good. His takedown defense isn't very good, and he's not the greatest on his back. So, I mean, if Holland's piecing him up at all, I would highly expect Brown to shoot for a takedown, or at least hope that he would. But I'm going to lean Brown only because I feel like he's got more ways to win this fight. I think Holland, it's probably going to be a KO or bust, I think. Next, we got Pitbull versus Pico. This is basically a Bellator fight on a UFC card. They're both from Bellator. There was talks of them fighting each other for a long time in Bellator. I really didn't follow Bellator very much back then, so I really don't know too much about their history in the Bellator. But you know, I think I think Pitbull's only shot is a knockout. Now I will say this: I don't think Pico should be a minus 300. I'm thinking like more like towards a minus 180 to a minus 200. So actually, now that I think about it, Pico is probably the largest favorite on this card. Now that I think about it, um, so I think Pico has more ways to win. I think Pitbull has one way to win. Pico should be pretty solid on the feet. He should be the minute winner on the feet. He should have higher volume on the feet, and he should grapple. Look for Pico to also grapple a little bit, and I like Pico to get the win here. I'm just not sold on the line. I think the line's a little too wide for it, but I do like Pico to get the victory. Next, we've got Swanson versus Landwehr. This is Swanson's last dance, it's his retirement fight. I'm going to lean his way partially because of that. Wow, that was weird. The screen went blank for a second. Hopefully it didn't screw up the recording too much. But anyways, this is Swanson's retirement fight. I'm going to lean that way partially because of that. I think he really wants to get this win. A lot of times with retirement fights, they're already halfway out the door. I don't think he is. He's very professional. He made weight very easily. So did Landwehr, though. They're both very professional fighters. That are also, they're both very tough, and they both have a lot of dog in them, and they're gonna bring it tonight. This could be, I'm not gonna say maybe not fight of the night candidate, but it could be up there. But I do like Swanson to be the better striker and to be the more high volume striker. Landwehr does have some power and is live for a KO, but I like Swanson here. I like Swanson to get the victory and hopefully end his career on a victory. And that's another fight that's basically it's minus 110 both ways. Next, we've got Reyes versus Walker. This one's going to be pretty crazy. I don't expect it to last very long either. We have two knockout fighters who have question mark chins. Walker could end up looking to grapple, though. He's probably smart if he does. That's the only way I see this fight going over. I have this fight ending by KO. I think Reyes is the more skilled fighter, though. It's a stay away for me. I'm gonna lean Reyes, but I use this fight to end by KO as a parlay piece. I think that's a pretty good look. It was like a minus 275 when I did it. I think it's a minus 300 now as a parlay piece, but that's what I played. Then we've got my least favorite fighter going. We got Curtis Blaze versus Josh Hockett. I really can't stand Hockett. I like at first it was kind of funny at first, but then he just kept going a step farther and a step farther and a step farther and introducing this accent, that accent. And then yesterday on the weigh-ins, I don't know what the hell he was trying to do. I mean, he was trying to pretend he was mentally challenged or something, which I think that's going a step too far. You know, um, that's just my opinion. I I understand what he's trying to do, um, and I'm all for it. But I just feel like he could reel it back and should reel it back a little bit. Um, but I don't think he ever will. So saying that, I think this is a little bit too much of a step up for him. I feel like I feel like his next fight should have been Tybura, or if you want to go even a step farther, you could have done prospect versus prospect in the UFC, and you could have just done Kuniev, who just lost the Blades by split decision instead. But they're trying to either fast track him to the top, or they're trying to get Blades out of there, one or the other. Um, it's obvious the UFC don't really want fighters like Blades anymore. They don't really want grapplers. Even though Hackett kind of is a grappler, but he's also got a lot of power. But anyways, back to this fight. I do feel like Hackett's going to be a little quicker on the feet, and he does bring power, but I like Blades to get some grappling going also, and I'm looking for Blades to get the win here. Um, I don't have the confidence to bet him though, but I tell you what, this is what I did wager on. I got two different wagers, which kind of covers me on both sides, but they both could also come through easily. I got Blades over .5 takedowns minus 125. Then I've got Hackett most significant strikes plus 154. I'm gonna warn you, this is now plus 138, and it's also like only even money on some books. So, you know, you may not be able to get it at these odds anymore. At plus 138, I would still play it. That's on FanDuel, by the way. And I've only got enough on it to win like one unit. So I've got like point six or 0.7 units on it. I don't have a lot on it, to be honest. It's one of those ones where I feel the same way as I did with the Nico Price versus can't remember the guy's name that just retired. Michael Chiesa, that's it. Where I took Nico Price's most significant strikes at a plus 260, and he literally had one significant strike, but Chiesa had zero. So I won the wager. It was only a sprinkle that I had on it, but I just thought it was good value because there's a good chance that both of these fighters might look to grapple. So therefore, on the feet, I'm going to take the guy that's going to be a little faster, probably a little more higher volume, and more athletic, and that's Hackett. So I'm going to take him for the most significant strike prop. I'm going to lean Blades to get the win, but that's all I got on that one. And then we got Murkazanov versus Costa. This is another fight that could be, this fight could be fight of the night, or it could be a 3-round snoozer. Murkazanov is going to be the more powerful striker here. Costa probably a little bit quicker on his feet, maybe even the higher volume striker. But I like Murzakanov, and I butchered his last name. I forgot his altogether, but whatever. It is what it is. So, anyways, I'm gonna go with Murzakanov. He's undefeated, and he's undefeated right now. But it is a fight. It's no by no means is this a layup. I'm staying away from this one as far as I can, but I do lean Mirzakhanov. Then our last fight of the night, we got Prochazka versus Ulberg, another 50-50 fight. And another fight that if you're confident on either side, God bless you, but I can't get there on either side. I could see Prochazka getting the victory. I could see Ulberg getting the victory. I think Ulberg is going to be the minute winner, probably even the higher volume striker. But Prochazka is going to bring the he's going to bring it, just his craziness, just his unorthodox style at times, and they both got knockout power, but I think Prochazka's got more. So I'm going to lean Prochazka to get like a second to third round KO. But I could see this ending either way. And this is another fight that I have ending by knockout also. All right. So now I'm going to pull up some of my wagers, and then we can go over those a little bit more and get out of here. So, all right, these here are my singles. I had to look at it for a second. So I've got Suarez by decision plus 128, boosted to a plus 166. I got Gamrot over 3.5 takedowns minus 140, 6 plus 225, 7 plus 330, 8 plus 500, 9 plus 700. Hockett most significant strikes plus 154, and Blades 1 takedown at a minus 125. Those are my singles. Now, for my parlays. Now, this is just going to be like last week. 2 of these parlays are a mixture of each other, kind of. So, or I should say, the third parlay is a little bit of a mixture of the top 2. So, I would play if you're going to play the bottom one. I don't know if I'd play both of the other ones. I'd play one or the other if I was you. I wouldn't play all 3. I just don't advise it, just in case, because if one of those top 2 loses, that means there's a decent chance the third one loses. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but there's a chance. So my first one is Reyes Walker, fight end by KO. Prochazka Ulberg, fight end by KO, minus 110. That one's pretty sad. I like that one a lot, actually. That one might be my favorite, even though I've gotten burnt before by doing them like this. Then I've got Suarez versus Godinez, fight to go to distance. Padilla versus Medeiros, over 1.5 rounds. Gamrot, Ribovic, start round 3, minus 109. Then I've got Gastelum money line, Suarez over 2.5 rounds, and Prochazka fight end by KO plus 130. I used a 30% boost on that one too, but it was literally a $10 limit, so it was kind of crappy. But those are my 3 parlays that I played for UFC 327. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hit your like on the way out if you could, please. If you have any questions, comments, what are your favorite plays? Love to hear it. If you know anybody that's, looking to maybe subscribe to another little YouTube channel, trying to grow this a little bit, if I can, that would be great. But I appreciate everyone watching, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.